Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tuesdays in the Shop. It is Tuesday at 6:30, and I'm Yvette. I'm one of the owners of Gotham Quilts, and I'm by myself because Andrea's supposed to be here, but the power just went out where she is. So she's waiting to get everything back online, and once she has internet again, oh, it looks like she's joining us. Hold on one second.
I'm back.
Speak of the devil.
Phew.
I was just explaining that you were supposed to be here, but then your power went out.
Yeah, that was weird.
Your internet went out because your power had gone out.
Yes, which does not happen very often, but it happened today. But now I'm back, so we're all good.
And of course, it was at the exact second that we were about to go live, right?
Right, of course. At least it was before instead of after. That would have been weird, but...
Yeah. All right, so what are we talking about today?
Tonight, I get to show you the new Frank Lloyd Wright collection from Cloud9. I have been excited about this since I found out about it a couple months ago. I ordered it as soon as I saw it without seeing it on fabric or anything else. I've had a lot of students and customers and people talk about Frank Lloyd Wright. There's a book came out a bunch of years ago of quilt pattern like Frank Lloyd Wright, and hopefully I'll continue to say that name correctly. I've been getting it mangled a little bit lately. But there was a book that came out of quilt patterns based on his work, and there were some beautiful quilts. They're very complicated, as you could probably imagine, but nobody had done a fabric line before. And this one is actually his artwork. Cloud9 partnered with the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation, so they were able to access, original drawings, original artwork. It's not something, that's based off of his artwork. It actually is his artwork. And I don't know what all they had access to. I'm a little bit jealous that they did have access to all of this. But I think they did a good job, and I can't wait to show you. I think you guys are going to be pretty excited. Because this doesn't happen all the time. So first of all, let me tell you, they're calling. Oh, Yvette.
Andrea, real quick. Do you have your big light on? Because it's very dark over there.
I do.
Okay.
Yes. So they are calling. The name is a little weird, I will admit. So they're calling the main print March Balloons, which is. So what happened? So there was a magazine, a Liberty magazine in, I think, the 40s that Frank Lloyd Wright did illustrations for, and he did one for each month. And I think the intent was for them to be covers. They ended up not using any of them because they were too avant-garde, but they were gorgeous. So this, I think, was supposed to be the March cover. So it's called March Balloons, and it comes in 4 colors. So I have them up here on the wall. So this one is called Bright. This one is called Desert. So these are the 2 like multicolor versions. And then we also have more, not multicolor, but kind of tonal.
Monochromatic?
Yeah, sure. Monochromatic, analogous. There we go. That's also a word I'm not good at. So these are, this one is called Water, as you can imagine. And then this one is Earth. So very earthy, as you can see, kind of clay, a lot of warm neutrals here. This colorway is really in lately.
Oh, yeah. That kind of like, terracotta color.
Yeah, mustard, clay, terracotta brown. It's really nice. Actually, now I'm covering up the other ones, but as you can see here, all 4 of the main print called March Balloons is right here, and also behind me. So this is the main print, and then they also chose 3 drawings from a book that Frank Lloyd Wright illustrated. I don't think he wrote it, but he hand illustrated it, and I think hand printed at least one of the copies. I'm not sure if all of the copies in 1910. And the illustrations are so detailed and beautiful. And the book was called A House Beautiful. And so that is what they have named the prints. So they have taken, let me show you the non-folded side. So they took some of those drawings, and the drawings were all just pen and ink. So there wasn't, they weren't color, at least the ones that I've seen. I haven't seen the whole book. Were just pen and ink. So they took those pen and ink line drawings and colored them. So all of these are tonal. Well, that's not true. There's a couple that aren't, but you'll see. So just really super usable blenders. And this one is House Beautiful A. Not the most creative names, but that's okay.
Can you hold it closer to the screen?
So,
I mean,
let me pick a different one. And I'm trying to get as much light there so you can see. So it's not a strong print. It is right. It is kind of
it's a blender.
Right, exactly. So it is a blender. It does read as kind of a texture from a distance, but then when you get closer, it is really pretty and interesting. Oh, there's the color change. It is not that dull. Oh, now man, my color is all over the place. So this is a pretty kind of turquoisey green, but they're nice and soft colors, which is nice. Here are the other colors in the House Beautiful A collection. So this top one is a nice kind of clay, orangey clay. This one has a yellowish cast. This is a green, and then a white with, actually, let me show you that one. So this is a white background with like a green, like a sage green print, but it doesn't really, it's like a gray green. It doesn't really read as green. You could definitely use this as a neutral. You could use it in all kinds of things. So that is the House Beautiful A print. And then we have House Beautiful B print, which is my favorite, I think. So first I'll show you all the colors together here.
Oh, that's a pretty palette.
Yeah, I love this purple one on the top. So we've got a purple, like a sandy kind of neutral, this nice blue one. So this is probably the highest contrast of the blenders. But I just love that. It is such a pretty blue. Then we have like a cream with orange print. And then we have, this one is really interesting because it's like the background has a hint of blue, but then the print on top is like a warm, not really brown, maybe beige. So you're getting the cool background with the warm print. So that one you can really mix with warm and cool, is a nice neutral that way. And then the last one is a greenish. Hold that one up for you. So then this one has a green cast to it. Well, it is green, I should say. Although it's not looking too green on my screen, but it is actually green. Maybe if I hold it back. No, that's not working either. But yeah, let me hold this one up so you can see it a little better, because this one is just love it. And this, with this contrast, you can actually see the design a little bit better. But I hope I'm not making people dizzy with this color going in and out. So that's House Beautiful B. And then we have House Beautiful C, which is...
These names really
I know,
simple.
right?
Like they really couldn't have given them names like House
Exactly.
Beautiful A, B, C.
It is not the best naming, but it is what it is.
I'm gonna write someone a letter.
You do that. So this is House Beautiful C. So this one is just a nice little geometric. It's not as bold. The design itself is not as bold and busy as the other two blenders. This is going to go with everything. And it's a beautiful, nice, so these colors are a little bit brighter as well, as you can see from the top one. That's a pretty bright blue. And then a pretty bright kind of mustard on the bottom, which is not, it's a little bit duller than my shirt, but it's nice. It's a nice. And then we have this kind of pebbly color that I've been using quite a bit of, actually. A nice red, this kind of blue-gray, a cream, and then this beautiful blue that I am so in love with. So these are going to be so usable. I mean, I think all of these blenders are going to be really usable. And then, of course, the March Balloons is just really fun. So that's like the main print. They are coming out with 2 new main prints in October. I can't show you those yet, but it will add. So they're going to keep the blend, at least as far as I understand, they're going to keep the blenders and then just add more of these hero prints or main prints, whatever you want to call them.
So that means that the color will work with these.
As far, yes. So what I've seen so far, they have paired the new prints with the existing blenders. As far as I could tell, there are no new blenders. They'll just work with these. And I get to see, I think I got to see them on Fabric at the show last week. So I am, and they're good designs too. So I'm looking forward to those and adding those into these.
Are there wide backs too, by any chance?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that because I almost forgot about them earlier. There are wide backs. So there's 4 colors of wide backs. There's basically 4 color ways or color stories going on here. One for each of the balloons. So the earth, water, and then the bright that you can see up here, and the desert that you can see down here. So those are kind of the 4 color stories going on. And then there's a backing for each one as well. So for the bright, these things are so heavy. 15 yards of 108-inch wide goods are heavy. So this one, so this is the bright.
Ooh, so it's like the main print, but
tonal.
An outline.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And I think the scale is bigger, but I didn't actually get a chance.
It definitely seems bigger.
Definitely bigger.
That's great.
But yeah, it's just a totally different thing with this tonal. I think this is a great backing. So that's the bright. Ugh. And then the water. Oh geez, I'm getting my exercise.
Maybe you should get up. Probably easier to pick up standing than sitting.
The water.
That's a pretty blue.
It really is. It's a nice, I wouldn't call it washed out, but calm. It has a little bit of gray in it, a little bit of green. So it's not really aqua, but it's a soft greenish.
Like a soft denim? Because that's how it looks on the computer.
I guess you could call it that. I would say it's a tiny bit more aqua than denim or chambray, but it's going to be very close to that. Yeah. Yeah, chambray.
Chambray is a color?
Well, it's a thing that's usually a standard color, like denim. Although denim now comes in all kinds of colors. So
yeah, so the chambray, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But this is what I think of when I think of chambray.
Okay. Very useful. Yeah.
However helpful that is.
Yeah.
Okay. Ugh. So this is the earth.
Great color too, like a putty.
Yeah, it's kind of that pebbly brownish. But yeah, again, nice tonal. And then we have the mustard, or this is the desert, I believe. Oh, geez.
Ooh.
So this one is the yellow mustard.
And
mustardy
is
yellow.
the print on that just a darker color of that golden color?
You know what? This one actually is a little bit, so the print is actually, I would say brown.
Okay.
So this one actually, yeah, it is. The print is it shows up a little bit stronger than the other.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you know what? I hadn't actually looked as close at that. Yeah, so you can really see.
Right.
You can really see on this one what it looks like.
It's like a little printier.
Yeah, just a
which
little,
is definitely not a word.
Totally. So those are all of the prints and bolts that we have. Oh, get that out of the way. As usual, we have full collection bundles, so all 22 prints in a full collection bundle in fat quarters, half yards, and full yards. We also have, I went crazy with the bundles on this one. So we have the House Beautiful A bundle, House Beautiful B bundle, House Beautiful C bundle. So
There's a
you
lot
could
of
get,
bundles.
yes, it's a lot of bundles. So you could get all of the House Beautiful C prints, for instance. And then I also did color story bundles. So a bright, based on this, and then with the brighter blenders that go with it. So there's a bright, desert, and earth, and a water. Again, all available in fat quarter, half yard, and full yard increments. So you've got lots of options here because there were just so many good ways to put this together that I wanted to let you guys have as many options as I could. So there's a lot of bundles for this one, more than we usually do. But I could see, wanting to get all 6 of these because they're just, you're going to be able to use this for anything. And the colors are just, it's a different palette than what we would normally do, I think. A little bit more muted, very kind of home deck focused. But these are going to go
And
with just
like
everything.
mid-century modern kind of
Yes.
palette,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I would say that's true. Yes. A lot of mid-century modern kind of colorways.
So it's still modern. It's just not like all the way modern. It's like vintage modern in a way.
I guess you could say that. Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to say, but like
But I think mid-century modern has always been kind of
right.
Vintage. Well, not always.
Well, when it was new, it was just modern, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But now we still think of that as, modern, even though it's 50,
from the 60s
years
or whatever.
old.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of mid-century modern, I guess. Do I have a favorite colorway?
Well, I was asking everybody else that.
Oh, everybody else. Oh, okay.
But I know yours.
Yours
is bright. No, you told me yours is bright.
Well, but that was before I had actually seen them on fabric. I don't know which one is my favorite. I think they're all really good. But yeah, I love this purple, I have to say. This purple, it's just a really nice, like kind of dusty purple.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too pink, it's not too blue. It's just a really nice purple. And I do love purple. I do love teal. There are some good teals in here as well. I also really like this one with this blue. So there's a lot of good ones. So that is
Let's talk about this.
Yes, this is the next thing I'm excited about. So we can't have a Frank Lloyd Wright collection without a Frank Lloyd Wright-esque quilt. So this quilt is, I didn't want to make it as complicated as a lot of the other Frank Lloyd Wright quilts I've seen that have a lot of skinny strips that are trying to make it look kind of like stained glass. I was inspired by stained glass, but I was trying to remove some of that skinny strip dealings that none of us really want to deal with. So I tried to keep that to a minimum. There are a couple 1-inch solid strips in here, but I did keep it to a minimum. So this is it's inspired by, it's not actually based on, but it's inspired by some of the designs in the Dwight Martin house, which is in Buffalo.
Show them the Martin house real quick.
The what?
Let's show them this house.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you guys should check out this house because you can do a virtual tour and it is gorgeous.
So there's all this, detailed window work and details on the ceiling. If you click this, you can see a virtual tour, which is probably opening on the wrong window. So look at this cool thing. You can click it and then go inside the house. So let's pick like right here. How cool is that?
Oh, we can't see.
You
We're
can't?
still just
No, it opened in a damn new
view.
window again. It keeps opening in a different window.
Of course it does.
It's like driving me crazy. It opened like 3 new windows.
Yeah, now
okay, let's try that again. So if I click on
The
one of these
conservatory
bubbles,
features a dramatic
there's
full-size
sound. We do not want sound.
Yeah.
So if you click on a bubble, it moves you to that room in the house, and then you can rotate around and look at all the crazy details. Like, look at this thing over here.
Yeah, and the built-in furniture. Oh my gosh, I want it all. The
You want it all. Look at this
fireplace
door.
is gorgeous. Like everything is so gorgeous.
Oh, look at these windows.
Yeah, so I think that's the front door. So of course it has.
Oh,
to
it's
be,
a door. You're right. It's a door. Not a
Yeah,
window.
so it has to be very, decorated. But
So
yeah,
basically, what Andrea did is she spent a bunch of time snooping around this house. Look at this fireplace.
yeah. And that's only one of the amazing fireplaces in this house.
Right. And then she took that inspiration and she channeled it into a quilt, which, I mean, most people cannot do that, right? Most people cannot take like an experience of a virtual tour of a house and then translate it into a quilt pattern. But this is why we work together, because Andrea can do that kind of thing. And then I can be like dumbfounded at her ability. And all of you can benefit because she can even like write the instructions for you to make this idea that popped out of her head.
That's right.
So yeah, this is very exciting for me. And this colorway, everybody probably already knows that I can't stand brown, but I actually like this one. Like,
there really is something about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's brown, but it's like not sad.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't think it's sad.
Yeah, brown to me often looks sad.
Yeah, this has some life to it with the folds and the clay.
So this colorway we're calling Earth. And does it only have prints from the Earth group, or did you mix a couple others in?
It only has prints from this collection. It does have one solid that is not included as part of the collection, but and some of the prints look, I mean, in this they look solid because it's, it's one of these little tonal
let me see if I can make it bigger. There you go. Now you can kind of see the detail a little bit better.
Some of them there. So this is the Earth, and it really does showcase those March balloons right in the center.
Oh yeah.
So that's a 17-inch square, I think, in the center. So you can really get a good, really showcase that one, and then in some corners as well.
And this is a 63-inch quilt, so that's like a throw size.
Right. So that's a good size throw.
And check out the water colorway.
Yeah, I really like the water.
Yeah, this is more your colorway, I think.
Yeah.
Blues, purples.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the teals and the purples and blues. So again, showcasing the March balloons in a big 17-inch square in the center, and then you're really just building borders out from the center. None of the piecing is difficult. There's quite a bit of it, but none of it is difficult. It's all rectangles and squares, and then some of those solid strips in between some of the borders. But that's really it. It's a center square with borders. So
yeah, and it's all straight piecing.
Under control. Yes.
All machine piecing. There's no Y seams. There's no fanciness. It's just straightforward.
Nothing fancy. Yep, that's exactly right.
I think this one is a more serene colorway. Like it would be more soothing in a way. I think.
So yeah, I mean, these kind of colors, these kinds of soft blues are kind of calming, soothing colors. But I think the neutrals are also, I mean, they're not they're warm, but they're not like active warm. You know what I mean?
Active warm. We just made that up. Active warm.
Yeah. Well, this one, I think this one gets busy. I would call this active,
Oh yeah.
So it's not that, but it is still, nice and pretty. And now I've just bungled up my pretty folds here. Oh well.
So do you have a favorite print out of all of them? Is it the main one?
Definitely, yeah. It would definitely be the main one for sure.
Yeah.
But the House Beautiful Bee would be my second favorite. I do really like this.
Is it C that has the tiny repeat in it? Because I think that it might be my favorite with the very small.
Let me show you. Yeah. Yes. So this is this is the small little squares.
What I like about that one is it's like basically a solid, but with a
Mhm.
bit of texture, right? So you can
Exactly.
use it to replace a solid. Like maybe you
Yes.
don't want a solid as your background, right? Like you can use that
Yeah.
one instead and have just a little bit more interest.
And I mean, any of these really, just because they are so tonal, I think you could replace solids with most of these, and get that, you know, from far away it reads flat and solid, but when you get closer, it's actually really interesting when you get up close, which I always
Cool.
like that. I think these would be gorgeous to pair with some yarn dyes as well.
Well,
I
you
have
like pairing anything with yarn dyes, to be
That is
fair.
true. That is true. These we just opened these boxes today, so I have not had time to coordinate with some solids and yarn dyes, but I will be doing that as soon as I can. Um,
Oh, maybe we
we'll-
can make a yarn dye coordinate bundle.
oh, I bet I could.
I think that would be cool.
You don't have to ask me twice to make a yarn dye bundle.
Yeah. Like you don't have enough stuff to do, right?
Also, that though, yeah. First I'll pick some solids.
Okay.
So, and we'll add those to the website as soon as I get a chance to do that. But yeah, these are they're just I'm excited. I've been waiting for these to come and show you
Yeah.
for months now.
When Andrea originally saw this collection with this buyer, with not the buyer, the sales rep, she was like, "Oh my god, you have to see this thing," and I was like, like
Yeah.
this isn't really my vibe. But her excitement has like spilled over into everybody else's excitement, and I really like the quilt she made. So now I'm kind of excited. A little
And
bit.
honestly, like some of these would make some really cool quilting patterns
Yeah, that's true.
if you could figure out how to simplify them. It would be tricky, I think, but it would look pretty awesome. So maybe that'll be another task for.
I also think it would be cool to embroider onto the March balloon print
Yes.
because it has all those little spots, right?
All of these, yeah, this one would be cool to embroider. I think even on the March balloons would be really cool to embroider.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. You could like fill
Yeah.
in parts of it with like straight stitch or
I didn't even think about that. That would be really cool. And none of these pieces are too big. So like if I hold my hand up, you can kind of see. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to fill in this whole section, it's not that big that you couldn't do it.
you could even do just like hoop on one of those circles
Totally.
and that would look, it's like a Frank Lloyd Wright wall hanging,
Totally. Yeah. How big is
I like that idea. I like my idea that I just had.
It's about a 5-inch circle, I would say. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Jen, I got a new project for you to do.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we have available? We have yardage for all of it.
Yep, yardage for everything. We have bundles for
Every
no,
permutation
the only
you
one we
could
don't
think
have
of.
is just the March balloons by itself. But we have a bright bundle, an earth bundle, a water bundle, a desert bundle, House Beautiful A, House Beautiful C, House Beautiful B. All of those are bundles available in fat quarter, half yard, and full yard increments. And then we also have the full collection, all 22 prints in the collection, available in a bundle as well, fat quarters, half yards, and full yards. And then we also have the wide width as well. So we have yardage of that. They are not in bundles, but they are yardage. So
Do you think it would look good to just
No.
do a simple charm quilt with all 24? Like a 5-inch square, all the different ones?
I think it would be pretty. We did, Jen and I actually looked at this in her rotation pattern, and it did look really good. The colors are really pretty. The only thing is I end up wanting more of this one.
Well, that's fine. The person could buy like a yard of that and
That's
then
true.
half a yard of everything else or something like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we were, or I know Jen was trying to keep it the same amount for everything. The longer she works here, she's starting to think like a store owner now, and selling the same amount of all of the fabrics, which is a great thing if you can.
And it makes it easier to make the kit too, because we can cut the same cut on all the different fabrics, right? Instead of each fabric having a different cut.
Exactly, which I totally appreciate. But then when I saw the mock-up, I was like, there just isn't enough of this, though.
Right.
So, but we might continue working on that. It did look really good in the rotation pattern. I would just get a little extra of the March balloons so that
Kathy's Kathy's asking which of the backings goes with the earth colorway.
The earth backing.
Oh, well, which one was it when you held it up? The yellowy one?
It's the brown.
Oh, right. The one that's actually brown. Yeah.
Yeah. So each of the March balloons are called Bright, Desert, Water, and Earth. And then the same with the backings. They have the same names. So you can just go by names to match them up. And you could swap. Like this one could definitely go with either, you could put this with Desert or Earth, honestly. But that is, that's what they're calling it. Yeah,
so
some
one
of
thing
them
they did
will definitely work
that
with more
was
than one.
helpful is they named them all the same name, so that was helpful. Like the backing that's called Earth goes with the Earth ones.
Exactly,
So
that part was
they did
helpful.
one thing to help us out. Yeah, the naming not so much.
Yeah, not so much, but that's okay.
Yeah, who's our sales rep for Cloud9? Let's
It's
go
Bob.
tell them. It's Bob. Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet Bob agrees with us.
probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have told them. Yeah, I talked to them at H&H last week, and that's where I saw the new ones.
Oh.
And saw them on fabric for the first time, actually.
And did you find out if the new one is going to be called C or D or whatever?
No, because it's not blenders. It's another.
Right.
It's another main print, or two more main prints actually.
Okay.
So I do
Hopefully
know what they are.
called March Balloon A and B or whatever.
March balloons. House Beautiful A, House Beautiful
No,
B.
I know. I mean the ones that are coming later that are the main prints. Imagine they named that March Balloons B.
Luckily, they did not.
Okay, good. Because then it would really get confusing.
It would. You're right. No, luckily they didn't do that. No. So.
Okay, sweet. So I only have to send one letter, not two letters. Yeah, I'm good at planting ideas in Jen's head.
Yep.
All right. Well, do we have anything else that we need to update anybody on? Any housekeeping stuff?
Not that I recall. We did get all of the orders that had built up last week while I was gone. We got those all shipped out today. So if you're waiting for your order, thank you for your patience. It should be on its way now. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I'm just excited for these fabrics. I'm glad they finally got here. I'm looking forward to cutting them up and sending them to you guys.
Yeah, I think these are going to be so usable. And it's like, because we do so much with like Tula Pink and Allison Glass, which is like bright and pink, and like this is a nice alternative. Not everybody likes pink, right? Like not everybody likes super saturated rainbow, right? So here's something for other people.
Exactly. And they're both great. And I think you could even mix some of these, some of these could go with Tula, for instance. I think they could definitely go with some of the Allison Glass. But if you want to just, keep these in their own thing, then that's okay too. Yes. So yeah, Tonder was asking when the next Frank Lloyd Wright prints will be coming out. That is in October. We already have them on order. So maybe we'll talk. We'll see if we launch a pre-order down the road. We'll see about that. And then we also got a question about the Modern Quilt Guild Challenge, which they just announced yesterday. So those fabrics are on order as well. We will be selling a bundle. We'll probably start taking pre-orders for those pretty soon also.
Yeah, we'll send an email when that's up.
Yeah, no reason we can't start taking orders while we're waiting for it to come. When I placed the order, they were all in stock. Let's hope that that's actually the case. In the past, they've had some issues keeping those fabrics in stock, but we'll do the best we can. We'll get them to you as fast as we can.
The colors are pretty. I think we should do a live just on the MQG colors for next year. It's QuiltCon
Sure.
because it's a nice palette.
It is a nice palette. Tara Fawnin is the keynote speaker at QuiltCon 2025, and so she selected the colors, and she has such an excellent color sense. She did a really good job. I think there's going to be some beautiful quilts for this challenge.
So I'm putting a link in the chat for everybody. So
Good idea.
For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, this is a link to the QuiltCon challenge for next year, where Tara Fawnin picked the colors. So the challenge is you have to only use those 6 colors. You don't have to use all of them, but you have to only use them. You can't add anything.
Correct.
Yep. And the palette is really pretty.
It is pretty. So yeah, so they just announced that yesterday. We're trying to get them in as fast as we can, and we'll have those up as soon as we can.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe I will put a picture up of the quilt again as
Sure.
the last look kind of a thing.
Yeah, go check out the bundles, the ton of bundles, ton of yardage, all kinds of good stuff.
If you scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, it'll take you to the Frank Lloyd Wright home on our website, and it has everything. It has the kits, the bundles, the yardage. And we forgot to mention that because this is from Cloud9, these are 100% organic cotton fabrics.
That's right.
So that's a nice detail. It really goes with Frank Lloyd Wright too, because he was so into organic shapes and nature and not synthetics, right? And the other cool detail about this group is that they are donating part of the proceeds from it back to the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation to support maintaining the houses, maintaining the history, the educational programs that they do. So if you're a fan of Frank Lloyd Wright, buying this fabric is supporting them. And obviously they're going to make some money off of this too, since it's a licensing deal. So
right.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So you can feel good about it because 1, it's beautiful. 2, it's organic, and 3, it's supporting a good cause.
Yep.
You can't go wrong.
All right. I think that's it for us today. We will be back next week at the same time, same place. And we don't know what we're going to be talking about next week yet. Oh, I forgot something.
You're going to show the results from last Tuesday?
Okay, so I forgot something. I did have something that was maintenance or,
Oh.
What was the
housekeeping?
What's the word? Housekeeping. Look at this.
She finished a top. And it looks great.
So I'm going to take real pictures of it and I'm going to write a blog post. But if you tuned in last week when I was by myself and I just sewed for an hour sewing jelly roll strips together, I did actually do the next step, which if you know me, there was no guarantee that was actually going to happen. But I did the math. And since this was 63 strips, I could make a bigger quilt. So I just did the math of how long my strip was and tried different amounts to see how big the quilt could be. And I ended up with 70 by 73 roughly, which is actually kind of a weird size, but it's just an oversized throw, basically.
Yeah.
I could have done it closer to a twin maybe, but I didn't want that shape. So I just made it as big a square as I could ish.
Nice.
So I'm going to write up a whole blog post with step-by-step on how to do a jelly roll race quilt, even if you have an unusual number of strips to use.
So how long do you think it took you, how many hours did that top take you, do you think?
I can actually probably figure it out because, so an hour in the video, it took me kind of a long time to figure out what size I wanted to subcut.
Yeah.
Because I was doing, I figured out the length. And then I was like, what happens if I cut it at 60 inches? And I did the math for that. And then I didn't like that number. And then I was like, okay, what happens if I cut it at 75 inches? So I don't know if I should count all that time because it wasn't sewing time.
Yeah.
Subcutting took no time whatsoever.
Right.
And then did lay out all the strips before I sewed them together instead of just going in order, because I wanted to look at it before I sewed it together, because I always get into these like obsessive modes of like, oh my God, all the white is on this side kind of thing.
Right.
But in the end, I did sew it in the order that I had pieced it in, because it just looked good that way.
Yeah.
But also that step took like an hour, laying them all out and then figuring out and like making sure that they were in the same order when I went to sew them together.
Yes. Yep.
But I think actually sewing the strips together only took 4 hours maybe.
So 5-ish hours for a whole quilt top.
Yep.
That's
but
not bad.
to be fair, I didn't press anything. So there's still work to do.
Okay. But that's a big, this is not just like a baby quilt. That's a good size
It's a huge top. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing about a jelly roll race quilt is that you really make the biggest size quilt you can with that yardage by doing this, because you have no waste practically. It's just those little triangles from each joint, right? So not only is it fast, it's also a good use of fabric.
Right.
So that was cool.
And at that size, so if it's, what do you say, it's like 70 something by 70 something?
It's like 70 by 73, I think it ended up being.
So you could even cut that into quarters and get 4 baby quilts out of that, if you wanted to.
Yeah, if I had, quadruplets
4 babies
or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, I will write that up and share it with everybody. But I wanted to show people because I bet most people who are watching were shocked that I actually finished the top.
I was a little shocked, to be honest.
Oh yeah, no, I think you were probably super shocked. All right, well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We will be back next week with more fun silliness and probably not new fabric, because we have gotten a lot of new fabric in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't think anything's coming next week, but I could be wrong. Something could show up next week.
Not that I know. I think this is it for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
We have a ton of work right now.
Yeah, stay tuned.
We do have
we'll have something fun
to show you, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. It will be fun, I promise. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.